Assalamu alaikum. Today we're going to learn about a special process that happens in plants called photosynthesis. So at the end of the lesson, we will be able to explain the process of photosynthesis and know how photosynthesis works, and we will be able to explain the importance of photosynthesis. So first, let's see what is photosynthesis. Can anyone guess what photosynthesis might mean? Well, photosynthesis is a process by which plants make their own food. So photosynthesis is a process by which plants make their own food, It utilizes sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide. And this entire process, where it takes place in the plant's green parts, such as its leaves. So photosynthesis is a process by which plants make their food. And how? Let's see. And where this process takes place? It takes place in the plant's green parts, such as its leaves. Now, let's move on. What do plants need for photosynthesis? So, let's see. Let's think about what plants need for photosynthesis to happen. What do you think they need? Okay, so firstly, plants need sunlight. Sunlight serves as the primary source of energy for plants. So sunlight is the primary source of energy for plants. It is the energy source. So sunlight is the energy source for plants. And secondly, we have water. Why do plants need water? They need water to mix with the carbon dioxide and sunlight. And where do they get water from? The water is taken from the soil by roots. It is taken from the soil by roots. So the first thing that plants need is sunlight, which is their energy source. And secondly, plants need water. Why? To mix with the carbon dioxide and sunlight. And where do they get water from? They get water from the soil by roots. Okay, so let's see what else do they need. Okay, so plants also need chlorophyll. And what is chlorophyll? Okay, so chlorophyll is a green pigment present in the leaves of plants. So it is a green pigment present in the leaves of plants. And what is the function of chlorophyll? Why is it important in photosynthesis? Well, chlorophyll captures the sunlight and helps turn it into food. Chlorophyll captures the sunlight and helps turn it into the food. Okay, so plants need chlorophyll, and chlorophyll is a green pigment which captures the sunlight and helps turn it into food. And where is this chlorophyll present? It is present in the leaves of plants. So chlorophyll is a green pigment which captures the sunlight and helps turn it into food. And it is present in the leaves. Where? In chloroplasts. So in leaves, we have tiny structures called chloroplasts, which contain this green pigment, called chlorophyll. called chlorophyll, which captures the sunlight and helps turn it into food. Okay. And what else do plants need for photosynthesis? They also need carbon dioxide. And where do they get carbon dioxide from? They get carbon dioxide from the air. How? Through tiny openings on leaves. There are tiny openings on leaves called stomata. Called stomata. We will learn about the structure of leaf in our next lesson. So carbon dioxide, plants require carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Plants need carbon dioxide, they need chlorophyll, they need water, they need sunlight. So these are the sources that plants need for the process photosynthesis. And where do they get carbon dioxide from? From the atmosphere, from the air. Okay, so let's move on. How does photosynthesis work? Well, let's see how does photosynthesis work. We learned that what is photosynthesis and what do plants need for photosynthesis. So what is photosynthesis? Let's recall. Photosynthesis is the process by which plants make their own food. And what do plants need for photosynthesis? We learned they need sunlight. From where do they get sunlight? From sun. And sunlight is the energy source for plants. And what else? They need water. And where do they get water from? The water is taken from the soil by roots. And why? To mix it with carbon dioxide, right? And what else? Chlorophyll. And what is chlorophyll? Chlorophyll is a green pigment present in chloroplast. And where is chloroplast? Chloroplast is present in the leaves. And what is the function of chlorophyll? Chlorophyll captures the sunlight. It captures the sunlight to turn it into the food. Okay, and what else do we need? We need carbon dioxide. And where do we get it from? We get it from the atmosphere. So let's see how does photosynthesis work. Okay. How does photosynthesis work? Now that we know what plants need, let's see how photosynthesis works. Inside the leaves of plants, I told you before, there are tiny structures. There are tiny structures called, what are they? They are chloroplasts. They are chloroplasts. And what do chloroplasts contain? Chloroplasts contain a green pigment. They contain a green pigment called chlorophyll. And do you know why plants are green? Well, plants are green only because of chlorophyll. And that's right, chlorophyll captures sunlight and uses its energy to turn carbon dioxide and water into glucose and oxygen. What is glucose? Glucose is food for the plant. But what is glucose? Glucose is a type of sugar. Okay, chlorophyll captures sunlight. This is how photosynthesis works. Firstly, chlorophyll, which is present in chloroplast. Chloroplast is present in leaves. So firstly, chlorophyll absorbs the energy from the sun, or you can say captures sunlight, and uses its energy to turn carbon dioxide and water into glucose and oxygen. Into glucose. First into glucose, which is a type of sugar and which is the food for the plant. Glucose is the food for the plant and it is a type of sugar. So first chlorophyll absorbs the energy from sun combining it with carbon dioxide and water to create oxygen, and oxygen is released into the air, and then this process transforms raw materials into sugar or glucose, and glucose is food for the plant. So this is how photosynthesis works. So let's move on. So here is the simple way to remember this process. Carbon dioxide plus water plus light energy is glucose plus oxygen. So carbon dioxide and water with the help of light energy becomes glucose and oxygen. This equation shows us the inputs and outputs of photosynthesis. So let's write the inputs and outputs. Inputs 1 and 2. Okay, so let's write the inputs. They are carbon dioxide, then we have water using light energy, which light, sunlight, using light energy. Now let's write the outputs. Glucose and oxygen. So here are the inputs and outputs of the process photosynthesis. Inputs are carbon dioxide, water, using light energy, and the outputs are glucose and oxygen. So this is the simplest way to remember the process. Carbon dioxide and water with the help of light energy become glucose and oxygen. So let's finally talk about why photosynthesis is important. Why is photosynthesis important? Okay, so photosynthesis is important as it makes food for plants, right? It makes food for plants. Food for plants. And what else? It produces oxygen. It produces oxygen. And what else? It helps remove carbon dioxide from the air. Remove carbon dioxide from the air. So photosynthesis is important because it produces oxygen. And oxygen is vital for all living organisms, right? To breathe, including us, animals, and it also serves as the foundation of the food chain. Yeah, it's the start of the food chain. And energy for plants, and subsequently for herbivores and carnivores, right? So photosynthesis is important because it makes food for plants, produces oxygen, and remove CO2, which is carbon dioxide from the air, which helps regulate Earth's climate. To sum up, photosynthesis is how plants make their own food using sunlight, water, carbon dioxide, and chlorophyll. It's a vital process that supports life on Earth. Jazakallah khair for your attention. In our next lesson, we'll explore more about the parts of the plant involved in photosynthesis and how each one plays a role.